Pow, here I am. Let's rock. Let's get it going. Welcome to the Manwich Show. I'm your host, Rich. And I took my bedroom and converted it into a podcast. Having said that, let's get into it. Whoa, TikTok conspiracies. That looks like something kind of kinky. Super Bowls, but guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, we're not here for that. We're here for the lizard people. Let's roll.
Hi, I'm Matt, and lately I've been wondering, is there a secret race of reptile people controlling our governments and enslaving humanity? We'll see. Since I was a child, I've been naturally inquisitive, questioning anything and everything that didn't quite make sense. As I grew, I poured countless hours into a number of conspiracy theories. Some of these theories I believe and some of these theories I don't, but some of them I do. Here I'll be studying the evidence for and against all of history's mysteries, doing the work so you don't have to, but you really should do it on your own, like check sources and all that. Okay. On today's episode, Reptilian Conspiracy. If you've been paying attention, you might have heard more and more references to a clandestine reptilian humanoid race. Sound familiar? It's shown up in pop culture with increasing regularity. You've heard it on podcasts, in politics. The theory has even infiltrated the hit romance reality show, Love Island. Just what are all these people talking about? Let's get into it. Okay, so as with nearly any conspiracy theory, there are usually variations in belief, but for the most part, the theory posits that there is a race of reptilians, or lizard people, if you will, and you should, that work in secret to dominate and rule over humans like you and me. Now, while the suggested origin of these lizard people varies from theorist to theorist, some say that they're from Earth, some say that they're from space, some say that they started on Earth, went to space, and came back. The one thing that most folks agree on is that these motherfuckers are evil. So how do these lizard folk go from ruling in secret to getting brought up in Love Island casual contestant conversation? Well, the reptoids can thank former soccer player, sports reporter, and hot take haver David Icke for absolutely and utterly blowing up their spot. It's also worth noting now that David Icke's ideas are kind of problematic and borderline prejudiced, but we'll get to that later. In 1998, David Icke released a book called The Biggest Secret, where two people he interviewed claimed that the British royal family were not in fact humans, but lizard people. Icke also claims that George W. Bush, Henry Kissinger, Bill, and Hillary Clinton, and Bob Hope are lizard people as well. Icke says that the reptoids are responsible for the JFK assassination, Princess Diana's death, and even 9/11. According to Icke, the Anunnaki, an ancient species of prehistoric alien demigods, came from the Orion, Sirius, and Draco constellations, created humans, and then created a reptilian-human hybrid. Making sense, right? Additionally, Icke suggests that lizard people drink human blood, which allows them to shapeshift into human form, allowing them to, I guess, then become a vaudeville legend and have an airport named after them. Icke has written that presidents and prime ministers have either been lizard people themselves or have been possessed or controlled by lizard people, and that they have had control over powerful offices since ancient times, like when Shrek 1 came out. Pretty heavy stuff, right? So what is there that even supports these wild-ass claims? Well, a little bit. Kind of. Maybe. Now, while I'm not all in on the reptilian theory just yet, I will say that it's not untrue that some very powerful people objectively look like lizards. And if you watch enough footage of politicians and high-level CEOs, you will find at least a few frames of them doing odd things. Now, maybe that's because to achieve a high level of success, you kind of just have to throw out being an altogether normal person. Or maybe they're lizard people. What's most interesting is that, and this is a fact, is that a lot of US presidents and very powerful people are related. Very distantly, but related. For example, President Barack Obama is a distant cousin of the Bushes, Gerald Ford, Lyndon B. Johnson, Harry Truman, and James Madison, as well as Winston Churchill. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt was related, again very distantly, to 11 other US presidents, including Madison, both Adams, Van Buren, Harrison, Taylor, Grant, the other Harrison, Taft, and of course, the other Roosevelt. I mean, his own wife, Eleanor, was his 5th cousin. Hell, according to genealogy experts at Genie.com, you go back far enough, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are related, 19th cousins. So is that evidence of ancient reptilian bloodlines secretly infiltrating and controlling our government? Or is it just kinda, how ancestry works? I don't know. Either way, you're gonna wanna know how to spot a reptoid. And that brings us to board time. Hiya! So let's start with the easy okay? Avi dead giveaways that you're talking to a lizard. We got the forked tongue, blue or green scales instead of skin. They lay eggs. But those are easy. According to one source at Alien Hub, there are more subtle signs that someone is a lizard person or have been possessed by one. Reddish hair. I didn't say it, they did. Keen eyesight or hearing. If I had keen eyesight, I would be wearing glasses to throw people off. Low blood pressure. Everything's chill, dude. ESP, UFO connections. A love of space or science. Space. A predominance of green or hazel eyes that can change color. NASA. A sense of not belonging to the human race. Oh, I don't belong to the human race. A deep compassion for the fate of mankind. Boop, boop. Unexplained scars on the body. An affinity for those chalky Valentine's Day hearts. That's not actually on the list,
Disgusting.
But who likes those? But even without that, many powerful people exhibit many of these signs, but does that make them lizard people? Okay, so here's a conspiracy theory pro tip, and this goes for nearly any conspiracy theory. If you present evidence in the right order and don't present evidence against, you can make a compelling case. So now let's talk about the problem. Back to David Icke, the leading reptilian conspiracy theorist. He was a famous soccer player in the UK who had to retire after developing arthritis at age 21. He became political and joined the Green Party as a spokesman in the 1980s. He resigned from the Green Party in the early 1990s, which later banned him, and he toured the country telling people he was the son of the Godhead, and was generally laughed out of good favor in the UK. His theories have often been labeled as anti-Semitic. While some of the people on the list aren't Jewish, Icke has stated that the Rothschilds, a prominent and influential Jewish family, are actually blood-sucking reptilians. Icke claims that he's not criticizing real Jews, just many lizard people posing as Jews. These are his words, not mine. He's also been labeled a Holocaust denier, positing both that Jews may have funded the Holocaust or that it didn't happen at all. In addition to that mess, there also might be a scientific reason why we might just not like snakes to begin with, making us very susceptible to a fear of a reptile-human hybrid. In 2013, scientists discovered that we have certain neurons in our brains that only respond to snakes. According to their research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, these neurons were very important to our early ancestors who had to be wary of snakes when they were a major threat to survival. In a small study in 2014, EEG meters were used to track subjects' brain activity when shown photos of snakes. The study showed what we already know. People, for the most part, don't like snakes. Could this be evidence of a possible counter theory that we're predisposed to be scared of reptiles and therefore more likely to be paranoid about lizard people? I think so. So are we under the rule of a bloodline of reptilian aliens intent on sucking our human blood and shape-shifting their way into our hearts and minds? Or is this just, and excuse my language, a bunch of horse apples? We may never know for sure, but watching what our politicians do with our tax dollars isn't the worst idea. And maybe when you're watching that, you can keep an eye out for lizard tongues. Or anything else on this list.
Matt, you have a lot of those traits.
Okay. Let's get to the next video. Mike.
It's one of the most bizarre conspiracy theories today. Ancient, blood-sucking lizard people disguised as humans who secretly rule the world. Where did this bizarre theory start? And is there any chance that it's all true? Let's find out in today's episode of
Colossal Mysteries.
They go by many names: Anunnaki, Dracarians, or reptilian humanoids, but most refer to them simply as the lizard people. This conspiracy sounds like something right out of science fiction. According to the theory, lizard people are cold-blooded, human-like reptilian creatures who can shape-shift into human form on command. Many kings, queens, world leaders, and celebrities count among their ranks, and they supposedly use their ability to gain power and influence in governments and business all across the globe. Believers tend to look for a few telltale signs: red hair, green eyes,
Oh my goodness,
good
red
hearing, and unexplained scars are all considered hints that a prominent person might be a lizard in disguise. They supposedly came to Earth from the star system Alpha Draconis and lurk in the underground layers, always plotting to overthrow humanity. Some even suggest these ravenous reptiles survive by sucking the blood of unsuspecting victims. If this sounds less like fact and a little bit more like fantasy, that's because it is. Scholars believe they can trace the origins of this outlandish conspiracy to a short story called The Shadow Kingdom, which was published in a magazine called Weird Tales in 1929. In this story, there's an ancient, almost extinct race of reptilian humanoids who rule the world from the shadows, using their magic to disguise themselves as any person they want. Sound familiar? So that's where the idea started.
Joe Biden.
Innocent short story about shape-shifting serpent men who control the earth. But how did it go from science fiction to all-out conspiracy theory? You can thank a man named David Icke for that. Icke is something of a celebrity conspiracy theorist. He wrote a book in 1999 that popularized the lizard people conspiracy. And over the years, he's given talks all around the world and written more books on the subject. You'd think for a theory that has so little evidence, there would be very few who buy into it.
But people are gullible.
Yet, according to a 2013 poll, about 4 to 7% of Americans believe the lizard people conspiracy. And while that number sounds small, it represents millions of people. So let's clear the air once and for all. There's no evidence whatsoever that the lizard people are real. So you can sleep soundly at night, knowing that our celebrities and world leaders aren't secretly reptilian humanoids. It turns out you don't need shape-shifting lizard powers to rule the world. And now you know a little bit more about the strange lizard people conspiracy. Comment below with a mystery you'd like us to solve. And remember to subscribe for more episodes of
Colossal Mysteries.
only on DreamWorks TV.
Okay. I can dig that.
When your president met our Queen at Buckingham Palace last year, he rolled up in the Beast, a huge reinforced Cadillac built to resist bullets, missiles, even chemical attacks. There were also 200 Secret Service agents in tow, although what they got up to in the evenings is anyone's guess. Buckingham Palace can be a pretty risky venue for visiting dignitaries. Her Majesty, of course, is always perfectly charming, but Monty, Holly and Willow are a law unto themselves. These three little corgi dogs may not look threatening, but they tend to chase people and then bite them. Now, 5 years ago, the Queen herself was spotted with a bandaged wrist after intervening to break up a canine squabble. The wound to the royal hand required 3 stitches. Corgis, of course, were originally bred to help round up cattle, so they usually go for your ankles. And when you see pictures of famous people with their heads bowed down in front of the Queen, they are probably on the lookout for those dogs. But you're thinking, why doesn't she simply lock them up when she's entertaining you? You don't know our Queen. She's had corgis for years. Her dad, King George VI, gave her a puppy for her 18th birthday. She's bred them. She's besotted by them. They've got their own official menu: poached chicken, liver, rabbits, pheasant, and home-baked scones, which Her Majesty crumbles up and personally adds to their dishes every day. They've got their own room in Buckingham Palace, you know, and each Christmas the Queen fills 3 little stockings with presents for her pets. These dogs accompany her everywhere. At one notorious state banquet, a corgi, now dare I say this, indiscreetly peed on the rug. Her Majesty didn't bat an eyelid. She summoned the master of the royal household, Rear Admiral Sir somebody or other, who commandeered a blotting pad from the Queen's writing desk and then went down on his hands and knees to deal with the damp patch. Everyone else pretended not to notice. The corgi breed has been in decline for a little while. Only 300 puppies used to be registered every year, but they are now making a significant comeback thanks to Her Majesty's Diamond Jubilee and her 3, sometimes ill-tempered, 4-legged friends. This is Ed Boyle for CBS News in London.
That was horrible. That is supposed to have been a reptile video on YouTube. That is trash. Forgive me. I did not. What's the word? I didn't watch any of this first.
Tom, just fill us in on the latest about what we know about how and why this happened.
Right, Casey. So a couple of things have come up in the course of the investigation, according to multiple senior law enforcement officials that myself and my colleague Mike Cosner have spoken to over the last couple of days. And so basically at this point, the motive still not clear exactly what it will be, unclear if we'll ever know what the particular motive will be, and it's at least several weeks away. But what investigators are starting to kind of probe and search around is that the person who they say is responsible for this, Anthony Quinn Warner, perhaps believed in several conspiracy theories, and they're asking questions and they're being told about first off the AT&T and 5G conspiracy theories, which we've covered before, and obviously the AT&T building appears to be the target of this attack, if not it's certainly the seat of the blast. So that's the first one. They've asked questions about that, but an area where they've been told about that this person may have believed and had some beliefs in is this idea of the reptilian theory or lizard theory, which is this completely unfounded conspiracy theory that exists online that somehow there's a group of powerful figures in Hollywood as well as powerful politicians who are in fact not human. They're reptiles or they're lizards, perhaps extraterrestrials who are secretly trying to take over society and are responsible for some of the worst and most tragic events presidents in human history. Some of the people that have been named in this include the Clintons, Bob Hope, Justin Bieber,
Barack
the Obamas, several others. So obviously a completely unfounded conspiracy theory, but there's some indications that this individual may have believed in that. They're also looking into whether or not he took his RV to an undisclosed location in Tennessee in an effort to hunt aliens. These are just some of the things that they're taking a look at. Again, we'll have to see how this all shakes out. One thing we have been told is that the amount of digital media, writings, photographs, even videos that this person had is bigger than first believed, and it could be a substantial trove that could help kind of guide the FBI into this, what is increasingly appears to be a very confused and conspiracy-believing mind of this person, Anthony Quinn Warner. So that's something that they're continuing to go through. So while they may wrap up that crime scene this week, that blast site, Casey, it appears that there's going to be a lot more work that they need to do to try to figure out why this person got to this point and set off this large bomb.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there.
Yes, and
click
while
on
we're
any
at
of the
it,
videos,
subscribe to this channel.
highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC.
Click on that like button.
You get more Beat the Press content every morning in the first.
I'm talking, buddy. Yes, subscribe and click on to this channel. Next. We got the last one.
But this current crop of
Oh, this is in my state.
They're not interested in solving problems. They're interested in making you angry and then finding somebody to blame. And they're hoping that that'll distract you from the fact that they don't have any answers of their own. That's their obsession. That's their formula. That's their answer to everything. Now, I can tell you what Tony Evers is obsessed with. He's obsessed with growing Wisconsin's economy, making sure every child gets a good education in this state.
That's pretty loud.
You heard him mention that his opponent wants to make it easier for people to sue public school districts. His opponent called proposals to increase education funding the definition of insanity. Really? I mean, have you been on the internet? People are out there saying that we're ruled by giant lizards and that Elvis is alive. You can't think of anything crazier than investing more in our schools and our children? Let me tell you, if that's crazy, then Tony's a good crazy. Because he's a lifelong educator. And as governor, he's worked with leaders from both parties to invest more in public education than Wisconsin has in almost 2 decades. He vetoed Republican bills that tried to make it harder to vote. He vetoed bills that would make it easier to carry concealed weapons. I can tell you where Mandela Barnes's priorities lie. As your senator, he won't go off on some wacky conspiracy theory. You don't see him trying to make you afraid of everybody just so he can grab power. He's going to work to bring manufacturing jobs to Wisconsin and help small businesses and family firms compete against huge mega corporations. That's his agenda.
Well, it's 2025. I can't say that really happened. But I can say it's been a blast. That's it. Hopefully you got a lot from the first 2 videos. The first 2 videos, come on now, that was some good stuff. I know it was some good stuff because I liked it. The BBC guy, oh man, they really hosed me there. So I have to do my homework a little better than that before I go and show something. But I really wanted to be something that it wasn't that I watched it in advance. I want a real reaction when I'm watching these videos with you guys. So having said that, you have a good night. Have a safe night. And we'll get back another night. Catch you later.
So goodbye for us. You have to say it, baby. And us in Texas, you wanna try, baby. I know you can, I know you're hard, and you will figure